Okay, so this is the first introduction to augmented six chords, and when I started this, it was a nightmare. Not for me, but for everybody else. Every time we come around to Theory 2, augmented six chords, it was a big stumbling point for some reason. So this is my, I don't know if it's weird, but this is my foolproof way to get them right every time. So augmented six chords are the same for both the main key you're basing it on and the parallel minor. So C, C minor, A, and so on. So they all have the same, there's 3 different augmented six chords. And they all have the same basic formula to start. So you start out with a tonic if you're in C major. You stack them differently. And then you go to the fifth, which is in C major.
G.
Okay? Then you split the fifth, which is a little bit weird, but. So what is a half step from G? Up.
A
flat.
G sharp.
Why isn't it G sharp?
Because if you think about the scale, you can't have more than one G in the scale. And your fifth is G.
So we're writing both the notes?
You're not writing G. You're going to go to G, just to locate it, and you're going to leave it out and then split it. So you're going to write an A flat,
Oh.
and then it's a half step down from the G.
G flat. F sharp.
F sharp, because we can't use the fifth.
Gotcha.
Why can't we use the fifth?
If we can use the third and we can use the sixth, or the fourth and the sixth, why can't we use the fifth?
Because this is a predominant chord, and you're going to want to voice lead to the fifth after.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to, you could technically add the fifth if you want to break the rules, but that's just the way these are formed.
So we want the split notes to be pulling us to the fifth?
Yeah, voice leading later, but we don't need to worry about that right now. Once you get it, the idea of how to form them under your belt, you'll be in good shape.
Okay.
We're going to introduce a couple other rules.
What key's that in?
C major.
How do you explain F sharp and C?
You could think about it as Lydian. I don't know.
So it's in Lydian for a second, and then but then it goes back to, wait, what's Lydian?
What theory do we typically cover modes
It's in
in?
theory 5.
Is it 5?
Four. I'm
It's
learning
fine.
it
History
right now.
one?
We go over it like a little bit every time.
I thought it was in
Oh, yeah,
one
oral.
also,
It's in
somewhere,
oral 4.
or 2
Yeah.
or something.
We haven't gotten there yet.
And
We-
then it's also in history.
Could
Well-
we also think of the F sharp as like a secondary leading tone?
You can.
I'm still confused. Why did you say split the fifth? Like, what does that mean? Because when you said that, I thought that it was going to be like between the C and the G, like cut in half or something.
Yeah. So the easiest way is they all have the C. None of them have the 5, but they all have a half step from the 5 in both directions.
So you could think about it as like splitting the fifth or like outlining the fifth?
Sure, yeah.
But like the fifth scale degree though, not the interval, right?
No, just the fifth scale degree. And when I started this, I was really bad at outlining or whatever, so I would have to count up to the 5 and actually think about the piano, what was around G. And I'm not sure where your students would be at this point, but, you know. So this is, there's 3 different varieties. There's the Italian, there's the French, and there's a German.
But they're all the same. Yeah.
They're the same now, but they're each going to have something special about them,
Sweet.
and there's a trick to remembering it.
It's like diversity.
So they each have one added note to give them their qualities, and this, the Italian, you can remember, has an I. You could just think of that as Roman numeral 1.
I can't really see that high.
So you think of this as Roman numeral 1, and you could double the first scale degree.
Oh.
Yeah.
The French, you could think about as having 2 letters and then you could add the second scale degree.
But they all have 2 letters, except for the
Well-
second.
This one has 3, so you double the third.
And the first one has a 1 in it.
Yeah, and 1 in it, so it's easier to remember. Yes,
Could I think of the fact that it has an R in it instead and think of Ray?
sure. That'd be that'd be just as good, but I didn't know solfege at the time, so I had to make like a,
It also has E, which is the third of C, which is the key that we think of as composition at first.
which
And
one?
it has an M, which stands for meat.
Green meatballs.
Maybe you. Wait, what did you just do?
Huh?
What,
What do you mean?
what?
Oh, it's a third for 3
Yeah.
Oh,
letters.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's a flat 3.
Wow.
Why? What's wrong with regular 3?
It'll sound a little funky, a little more funky. So here is the German with the normal, let's see. Here's with the me.
I think that sounds cool.
That's
I like
cool.
it. It sounds like it's pulling up somewhere.
So if you just remember those basics, you kind of get it right.
Wait,
Everybody has a different way of thinking about it. This way worked for a lot of people for some reason. What do you think about it? Is that hard to understand?
I still don't understand why there's a flat 3 instead of regular 3. Like, what's the purpose of it?
What's the purpose of it?
I thought the other one sounded cool.
Yeah, because like the 2 notes, like the split 5 is like outlining 5, so it wants to go to 5, but why do we have a flat 3?
Where does it pull?
Like it doesn't want to go to 5.
Is it because in
So-
the 5 you have Ray?
These are all predominant. They all want to go to the 5. And if you write a 5 chord out, you would have the re. Well, what's the 5 chord in C?
Salt,
So
salty
T-
red.
So what is the letter names?
GBD.
G,
So how would we voice lead the German?
V, G, no, D, B.
Go to T.
Where would the A
Well, that
flat one
wants to
go?
go to the
A would
G,
go to G.
but so does the F sharp.
So they can both go.
Yeah. So those two would both go to the B.
Take a marker.
Yeah.
Flattening all sides.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Where does the May want to go?
To
Ray.
Right.
Mine's just falling.
Is that why it's flat?
So naturally, you want to follow, when you write accidentals in your compositions, you usually want to adjust the enharmonic spelling to where you want to go.
What?
So if you have an F sharp, it's usually going to want to go up. If you wanted it to go down, you would write it as a,
F flat?
you would write it as a G flat.
Can you,
Does that make sense?
some of the words, the wording was a bit hard for me to follow. Could you
So,
maybe do like a visual or something?
yeah. So if you saw this in a line, let's see, something like this. Where would this pitch want to go?
F.
Yeah.
So if you saw something like this, let's see. Where would that want to go?
B.
Okay.
Just a general rule for accidentals, it doesn't always work like that, but for the most part, you kind of rely on that.
Thank you.
Why is it called a 6 chord?
It's called an augmented 6 because of the interval between, there's an interval in here. Which one is it?
And
So when you voice lead with these, you start, it's not, this is the easiest way to think about it, but you're gonna have to rearrange it when you voice lead. You're gonna have the lay in the bass. So you would write something like this, and then what would you put?
Then the C.
The C,
Good?
and then E flat.
And F sharp.
Okay. what is this interval?
Augmented six.
Yeah. So these are all called augmented six because they all share the A flat to the F sharp.
Even if it's not stacked that way?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm confused because, so the sixth scale degree is flat. So why aren't they called flat six chords?
Because that's already a thing.
Yeah, they're not built on the
It's
flat
already a
six.
thing, right? Right?
But, okay,
Yeah.
but, so the flat six is always the root, cause we wrote it with the C as the root.
It's not always the root, it's just the easiest to voice lead. Like Schumann, like all the time won't actually follow the proper stacking. I just played a Beethoven piece last semester where he didn't, or a Mozart piece last semester where he didn't follow the voice leading at all. But most commonly, this would be the easiest way to part right.
So
Five.
the A flat should go to G.
Yes,
Oh, so you put, is that why you put the A flat in the bass?
yes.
Cause you want it to go to a root?
And then that would give,
Right, because it goes to a diamond chord.
Okay.
Is there any scenario where you would find it stacked like you did on the right? Or is it always gonna be like the ones you did on the left?
you're gonna find it stacked like this as well, but in your examples and when you part right, you're most likely gonna wanna stick to this. Because this is easier to deal with. You actually see this, I've seen this a couple times recently, but it's like very system specific.
Will it be like that on the test?
It would most likely be like this on the test.
Do they
Why,
all-
where's the Roman numerals? Like, what Roman numeral would I put to that? Because if I see that A flat, C, E flat, F sharp,
Yeah,
I'm gonna put a flat six, sharp six.
when you're doing Roman
Okay.
numerals, you could just put these as your Roman numerals.
Will I get it right if I,
Yeah.
but everything has to have a Roman numeral. Right?
What do you put as the lead sheet?
The lead sheet.
Yeah, did Pop,
When you're doing Roman numerals, these will substitute for Roman numerals.
So we'll get that right on the test if we
Yeah.
just write that,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Sometimes you'll see it as +6.
Mhm.
Usually I'll just put the 6 and it's fine.
Do they all go to 5?
They could go to 5, they very commonly go to a 1-6-4 first.
Really?
Why?
cause one
Because
six
that's potential function anyway.
four is like the same, yeah.
Why can't they just go straight to 5?
They can go straight to 5, but,
That's the way you know.
so what is a 1-6-4, or what is a 5? We got the G,
B, D, G.
where do you want these voices to go?
That, the top voice should go to another G, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Stepwise.
the middle ones go to a B and a C.
Yeah.
Okay,
But that's parallel fifths.
is it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A flat, E flat.
Uh-oh.
But that makes sense to go to the 1-6.
Yes, so that's how you do it with the 1-6-4.
So we have the 1-6-4 to break up the parallel fifths?
Yes.
That would work,
Yeah.
because then it would just be an E natural.
Where do you see the parallel fifths?
A
flat.
Oh, you see the A flat, E flat, yeah?
And then E.
So that's
Oh
why
yeah,
I
so
would
you
do.
would need, you wouldn't need it, but for proper voice leading, you would need to go straight to the 1-6-4, or you would create parallel fifths if you followed the proper resolutions.